3 is the magic number in our news that start right here, right now. Greetings Rommies and welcome to RomRom.net, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing, and to our regular news roundup. Welcome to the channel, thanks for stopping by. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. When time permits, please consider subscribing. If you have any news for us, send us a mail to news@romrom.net. Not many, but instead quite thorough news today, mostly because of RFactor 2. And before we move on, yes, we know Kuno's announced Assetto Corsa Competizione on next generation consoles for the 22nd of February. Hopefully these really do run on 60 FPS from the start and have no input lag at all, contrary to the mess up they did on the first console version. As we already said last week, see the link up there, a big update dropped this week, followed by a hotfix. Okay, it was on Tuesday, not Monday, but still, we thank those who give us this kind of information, you know who you are. As we were expecting, the Reinhardt 2KI and the Lola B2K00 joined the FUSA Gen 3 group, and Road America completes the roster of the Racing USA Part 2 DLC. Also, as we said last week, the McLaren MP41C comes into the F Retro Gen 3 class. And what we didn't know yet, there are now GTS variants of the Polo and Virtus. An interesting mix between physics and graphics are the cockpit camera and especially the helmet camera. While we've always had a visual simulation of the G-forces that act on the driver, accelerating and braking, now Automobilista 2 will also visually simulate the G-forces that act from the side, especially when getting into a turn. The car moves into the turn, but your body, because of the centrifugal force, will want to keep the same direction it had before. As a race driver, your head seems to want to go right in a left-hand turn and vice versa. Same applies to up and down, bumps, suspension, places like the glorious Eau Rouge, and Automobilista 2 adds those too. If you're running track IR, you will be able to change the camera's G-force. Also, they have added a ton more information the sim puts into shared memory for other applications, like for example SimHop or Crew Chief, to use in whatever ways people can think of. Of course, Razer have laid hand once again to the tire treads on many cars and have revised wheel spin inertia in all cars. Also, tons of small aero corrections and a very interesting addition, a clutch damage model and clutch heating, as well as corrections to how clutches add to the overall driving model, auto clutch is handled, and so on. And the default setups have been updated in a ton and a half of car series. Furthermore, the AI now know better how to take corners, how to avoid hitting the player and other AIs when those are in their way, and other tweaks and corrections. And yes, tracks saw many changes, like updating weather and climate change transitions so the leaves look more natural. No leaf physics yet. Or having the rolling start points in many tracks, as well as many graphics corrections overall. And of course, they have fixed a ton of smaller issues in weather progression, the championship editor, the UI, the cars. You get the picture. For details, check the link in our description. The numbers of those sharing our passion for racing while standing still continue to grow and are right now the highest we've ever recorded, with the caveat that we only started in last April, but still. We know from many conversations there's tons of people coming completely anew to sim racing and being hooked on it. A joy we at RomRom, and we suppose also all of you, can relate wholeheartedly. Assetto Corsa had the most average daily users we've ever recorded, as had Assetto Corsa Competizione, Kartcraft, and most especially RFactor 2, which almost doubled the number of average users from last month. We're sure many at least started RFactor 2 once to check on the very well done new UI, and then stayed because with the new UI it's much easier and exceedingly faster than ever before to get where you want and start racing around. Automobilista 2, on the other hand, saw a slight drop in their numbers, as did Beam.NG, coming from very high, so don't read too much into that. Wreckfest continues on the downward spiral, as does, not surprisingly, NASCAR 21, from 21 to 17 average users. All in all, our hobby is growing and we expect it will continue to do so as the lockdowns brought it to the attention of many people out there. Happy bubble in shitty times or so. We'll take what we get. If you like this video and would like to see more, consider becoming a patron, thus letting us spread our wings. And a big thank you to our patrons. Now that they seem not to be bogged down by saving NASCAR 21, the developers of Studio 397 have started to bring content out for real, like tons of it. Let's start with the cars. The Ligier JS P320 and LMP3 car will be added to RFactor 2 tomorrow, 7th of February, adding a second car towards what Studio 397 say will become a whole LMP3 class. Some of you may know the name Ligier, especially from Formula 1, where they were a team for many years until they sold it to Alain Prost. After that, things went quiet until the 2010s, when they got converted into an endurance car maker and started winning races, especially in the USA. As you may surmise by the number, LMP3s are more on entry-level prototypes, but still prototype enough to be a joy to race. We at RomRom can't wait to check this one out. But we said cars, plural, and that's right, because the next car to figure in tomorrow's drop will be no surprise to anyone who follows motorsport or sim racing, as this car is being deployed in almost every sim out there. It's going to be the new BMW M4 GT3. Already available for Assetto Corsa Competizione and iRacing, it's clear BMW have been offering it to every sim company out there, as now it will be also part of the RFactor 2 roster. We're not protesting. Each one of us likes different sims more than others, and being able to compare experiences is part of the fun of sim racing, isn't it? The M4 is the successor of the M6 and saw its inaugural race at the 24 Hours of Dubai. Don't let the 9th and 10th places fool you. The fact that a brand new car, in this case 2 of them, survived the race at all is already a good thing. And hey, in the 24 Hours of Daytona they made 7th and 9th. Of course, the way things went in front at that race made it easier to finish in a better position, but let's not go there. Third and last is only a mild surprise, because as they had already teased on Twitter, Studio 397 are introducing the IndyCar IR18 into the sim. Sure, we have different IndyCar Dallaras in the sim already, but this one's the 2021 spec IndyCar and will hopefully give the team enough time and experience in simulating these cars and their behavior that the planned IndyCar sim from Motorsport Games won't suffer the same fate as NASCAR 21. Planned for 2023, this will be the first IndyCar sim in what seems like forever. Yeah, well, okay, Project Cars 2 had IndyCars and seems to have been considered an official simulator, but does it count really? Back to RFactor 2. From what Studio 397 tell, it seems the cars will come with all 3 configurations IndyCar uses: road, speedway and short oval, and we are promised other IndyCar specialties like push to pass and weight jacker. Having followed the 2021 season of IndyCar closely, I'm very interested on sitting behind the wheel of these cars. It seems all of these cars will come free of cost to RFactor 2, as neither the Ligier nor the IndyCars or the BMW are announced as DLCs, but we'll have to wait until Monday to know for sure. Oh, and to give more oomph to the release of the IndyCars, on Wednesday there will be a special race at midnight CET featuring reigning IndyCar champion Alex Palou, Mr. Helio Castroneves himself and 2-time series champion Joseph Newgarden, amongst others. 2 10-minute and 1 20-minute race. And yes, soon enough we will be able to race IndyCars in the competition system of RFactor 2. And rejoice, as not only will you be able to race Indy on Indianapolis, both road and oval, but you will soon be able to race it in Daytona. No, not yet on the 7th, but it seems licensing has been wrapped up and the work is already quite far, judging by the images they have delivered. While the information they give us is quite fuzzy, it does seem as we will get Daytona in road and oval configurations. Wait, there's more! Apart from the UI change we already talked about 2 weeks ago, Studio 397 have changed the release schedule of RFactor to decidedly, moving now to quarterly releases. We get it, doing a release is a big thing and you need to have all pieces in place and have everything gone through QA and tons of preparations to not mess it up. Remember how Race Room changed the physics of the Daytona track only days ahead of their Daytona 2.5 hours? If not, see the link up there. Studio 397 now being the providers of the core engine for all the motorsport game sims will mean having to communicate also with more teams before doing changes to it. We only communicate with one team and that is Team Romy, all of you, but only if you promise to check the playlist to the left or the video to the right. Until next time, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other on the podium.